Hey there, everybody. This is Sven from Sweden, and welcome to the ePreneur Show, the podcast where we pick the brains of some of the experts in the most awesome niches online right now. So for tonight, we have a special guest. I'm gonna make an effort on pronouncing his last name. Little nervous here. Okay, so let's see. Welcome, Mason Duchatschek. Was it right?
Sven, you nailed it. Hardly anyone gets it
Oh,
right the first time. Kudos to you.
thank you. I did take a sneak peek at your website where you actually introduce yourself. So
That helps. Preparation.
yeah, research for the win. Okay, so tell me and the audience who will listen to this, who are you? Where did you start?
I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a multipreneur. I own multiple businesses, and I live in St. Louis, Missouri, in the United States. And I guess I worked for a national sales trainer right out of college, and utilized the skills that I learned there to build several businesses. And in about 2000, and I wrote a book in 1999 with Alan Minster, who was on the cover of Selling Magazine, called Sales Utopia: How to Get the Right People Doing the Right Things Enough Times. And Alan's specialty was Salesforce automation. And I guess around 2008, I started realizing 2007, 2008 that a lot of the traditional methods of marketing and lead generation weren't working. Americans were sorting their mail over the trash can, so direct mail wasn't as effective as it used to be. They had all prospects had caller ID, so telemarketing wasn't as effective as it used to be because it wasn't like you just had to get past the receptionist. There was spam filters to keep people from just emailing, right out of the gate for lead generation. And stopping by without an appointment is considered rude and intrusive. So it really made it difficult for business owners to get their messages to their ideal prospects. And I said, there's got to be a better way. And I discovered that way was online marketing. And I've been following some of the folks that have been around a long time. And back from when Ed Dale had his 30-day challenge. I mean, a lot of those folks, and just really kind of developed my own niches, and now I'm able to help other businesses do the same.
Cool. All right. So what was some of the main roadblocks or problems that you faced in the beginning, and how did you surpass them, so to speak?
Well, the biggest obstacle I think that I faced was probably similar to obstacles faced by many business owners who understood and had success with traditional marketing methods in the past, and that was overwhelm. What do you do? Why do you do it? How do you do it? Things are changing. I was overwhelmed, and I the business owners that I talked to are very savvy and successful business people, but the whole grasping the concept of what do I do online is formidable, and it was for me too. And the best way that I can explain it is there's this young man that came in my office one day, and I described what we did, and he said, well, Mason, he goes, I get it completely. He goes, that's just like jug fishing. And of course, I didn't know what jug fishing was, so I asked him, I go, his name's Matt, and I said, Matt, what's jug fishing? He goes, Mason, he goes, I had attention deficit disorder as a child, and I couldn't pay attention to anything for any period of time, and my dad took me fishing one time when I was a little boy on the river. He said I grew up in Alabama, which here in the States is kind of a rural area. And he said my dad cast the fishing line into the water, and there was a bobber there. And the idea of sitting still and waiting for the fish to bite on that one hook so the bobber would go underwater and I could reel it in. He goes, I just sat there all day and it was so boring I couldn't take it. I made my dad crazy too. I go, so then what happened? He goes, then my dad taught me how to jug fish. And of course I said, Matt, I understand regular fishing, but what is jug fishing? He said, Mason, that's when you go get hundreds of plastic milk jugs and you put the lids on them so that they float. They're like bobbers on their own. And he said, you tie fishing line to those milk jugs, and and then you put a hook on it and bait on it, and where there are a bunch of fish and no one else fishing, and you go throw all your jugs there. He goes, and then I was running up and down the river all day long, scooping up fish in a net while my dad just, watched me have the time of my life. And here's the comparison. The river is the internet.
Mm-hmm.
The fish are your ideal prospects.
Yeah.
The bait is your content, and it needs to be fresh for the same reason that you want fresh bait on your hooks, because you don't want to repel rather than attract your ideal prospects.
Mm-hmm.
The process of keyword research